Meilah Daf Beis, a brand new Masechta. Meilah. If somebody misappropriates funds that belong to the Beis Hamikdash, as the Torah says, Kochi Hashem, anything that belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you use your over Meilah. And if you're over Meilah, you have to pay the original plus 25%, and you bring a Karban Hashem Meilah. There are two categories when it comes to Meilah. There's Kochi Bedek Habayis, meaning funds that are appropriated for the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash, and that can include anything that somebody donates to the Beis Hamikdash. They could sell it and use the funds for the upkeep. And then you have Kochi Mizbeach. Kochi Mizbeach are all the karbanos that go to the Mizbeach, and that includes two categories: Kochi Kochim and Kochim Kalim. Kochi Kochim, animals such as Chatos and Asham, which have Kedush Saguf, and it's very strong. And then this Kochim Kalim, like Shlamim, which really is not Kochi Hashem, it doesn't belong to Hashem up until after Zrika that the Imurim go on the Mizbeach. Once the animal becomes mutter, this carbon becomes a mutter to the Kayin, after the Zrika, you no longer can be over Meilah. Even, says the Mishnah, if it became usher to the Kayin to eat, such as Noisar, Tuma, and Yaitse, if it came out of the Beis HaMikdash. The Mishnah is Machadish that you're over Meilah, even if you had a machshava, a thought of pigul and chutz l'makam, you thought you're going to eat it outside of the allotted time and outside of the allotted place, you're still over on pigul. I would have thought that since in order to be over on pigul, one must go through the four avodas, shchita, kabbalah, hilacha, and zrika, and only after zrika are you really over on the pigul. And as we said, Zrika makes it mutter for the Kayin. So I would think that this Zrika also takes it out of the category of Meilah, Kamashmalan, the Oiver Meilah. By Kochim Kalim, there is no Meilah because it's considered the owners, up until after Zrika, it's the reverse really. Then after Zrika, the Emurim, the parts that go on the Mizbeach, they become Kochi Hashem, and therefore you're Oiver Meilah. The Mishnah says, you're also over Meilah if somebody shechted or received the blood in the wrong place in the Azara. If you did it in Daraim instead of Safai. Or if you shechted at night. There's machlekes in another Masechta between Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda, the concept of Im Alu Lo Yerdu, certain animals that go onto the Mizbech, even though they're puzzle, once they go on, you don't remove them. Reb Yehuda says, the pasuk, you learn from the pasuk Zayis Torah Sa'ila, that there's three categories that even if they go on the Mizbech, you remove them. If it was shechted at night, if the blood spilled, and if you took the blood outside. So since Rabbi Yehuda says that if it was shechted at night, it comes off the Mizbech, that means he's shechted in the wrong time. So certainly if you shechted in the wrong place in Darai, you would also remove it from the Mizbech. Says Rabbi Yosef, our Mishnah cannot be going according to Rabbi Yehuda, therefore it has to be going according to Rabbi Shimon. And according to Rabbi Shimon, the Meilah would be the Eraisa Meilah. Im Alu Lo Yerdu, it belongs to the Mizbeach, and it's the Eraisa. The Chiddush is that one would think that it's similar if somebody shechs it in the wrong place, in Daraim, it's similar to if somebody choked the animal to death, the Karban, and in that case the Meilah is only the Rabbanan. Kamash Malano, over here the Meilah is the Eraisa. But according to Rabbah, even according to Rabbi Shimon, he says, in our case, you would have to remove, where you shechted the animal at night, you'd have to remove the animal from the Mizbeach. Why? Because Reb Shimon only holds in a situation where he did the shechita properly, he sprinkled the blood in the wrong place, then im alu lo yardu. But in our case, where you shechted it completely in the wrong place, then you must remove it. So therefore, according to him, the Meilah in our Mishnah is referring to Meilah de Rabbanan. What's the difference between Meilah de Rabbanan and the Eraisa? The Eraisa, as we said, in addition to the Karen, to the original, you have to give 25% and bring a carbon. Over here, you don't give the 25%. And certainly points out Taisvis, you don't bring a carbon, a shamilas, because that would be chulin va'azara. Even though, in our Mishnah, according to this, we're talking about a case, according to Rabbah, that's Meilah de Rabbanan. So why does Rabbi Yochanan have to say again the case of Meilah de Rabbanan? To be mechadish that even when you choke the animal, there's Meilah de Rabbanan, and in that case I would think maybe there shouldn't be Meilah because nobody wants to touch it, everybody knows it died inappropriately, so don't touch it, it's an Avela. But in our case, where they did a proper shechita, it's just in the wrong place, that only then they were geyser rabbanon meila, kamashmalan, even when you choke an animal, there's meila. There's two categories when it comes to meila. There's a category of things that depreciate when you use them, such as food. You're taking from the food, or an animal. When you use an animal, it becomes weaker. There are items that don't depreciate, such as a glass. You drink from a glass, or jewelry. They don't depreciate. The difference is the items that depreciate, you must use at least a shava pruta of depreciation. Whereas the items that don't depreciate, just having benefit of a pruta without depreciation is also mi'ila. Therefore, when we have a chatos, if it doesn't have a mum, you cannot redeem it. So it's not there to be redeemed, and therefore you don't need to depreciate it. You just need to benefit from it, one pruta, and you're over. However, if you have a chatos that's a bal mum, now it's ready to be redeemed. Therefore, it's depreciated. It must be depreciated by a pruta. Chatos hameisais. These are chatos, the 5 chatos that are bound to die, such as if the owner passed away before bringing his chatos, you let the chatos die, or any money that has to be thrown to Yam HaMelech, he can't use it. The Rabbanan weren't geyser mi'ila because people know to stay away from it. Have a wonderful day.